a Salisbury resident. I've been living in Salisbury for 77 years. That's my whole life. I'm Lebanese descent. I'm an American, but Lebanese descent. My family has been in the United States since the mid-1800s. And they've been in business in the Salisbury area since then also. So we've always been in the business, one business or another, usually entertainment at the beach mostly, and then my life, of course, has been part of that when I was real young, and I've been a hairstylist for 56 years in the Salisbury area. And my family had a place of business down at the beach. It was a restaurant, a bar restaurant called Shaffy's Barbecue, and it was right next door to the Normandy Hotel and next door to the roller coaster and B. Murray's restaurant also. In my early days, probably from 6 to 11, I would part-time work in the restaurant, peeling potatoes and doing all that little mediocre stuff. But at 11 years old, my father handed me the keys to the restaurant and said, "It's time for you to go to work." So I took the keys, and I had to go there at 5 o'clock in the morning to open up the restaurant, because they were there probably till 4 in the morning cleaning up and getting it ready for the next day. So my job was to go there, get it open. So I had to be up early and leave, and I live on Ferry Road, and I've lived in that same house since 1944. And I would run to the end of Ferry Road, and the police would pick me up. That was every single day, 7 days a week. They would pick me up, take me to the barbecue, and on the way down, they'd say, "All right, little Jimmy," they would call me, "get in there and make that coffee, because we'll be back later for coffee." The building ran long. It was narrow but long. It was probably 100 feet long. It went back along the side of the roller coaster. It was almost under the roller coaster. I would get a few hours in the middle of the day off, and my mother would bring some friends down. We'd go to the beach for an hour or two. Then I had to go back to work. So my friends would come back. She'd feed them whatever they wanted, and then back to work till 6 o'clock at night. And that was 7 days a week. But you didn't think anything of it at that time. The work ethics were different. Not like today's, some different work ethics out there. And the soldiers, during the Second World War, I remember them even though I was young, because they used to babysit me. And the reason they babysat me was because my mother would come down and cook Arabic food, stuffed grape leaves, and a lot of you out there know what Arabic food is, and that they would come in and eat, and then they would take me and walk me up the beach, and they would do patrols from Black Rocks to Hampton River and back. The soldiers were always, it was hard to get butter, it was hard to get milk, it was hard to get meat, because they always saved it for the army, for the soldiers. But because the soldiers came into our restaurant all the time, we always had butter, we always had meat, we always had the milk and the eggs and things like that. So it was quite a thing going on down there. They like to come in and get the Arabic food and their booze. And of course, we like to take the food, because we couldn't get it, and most people couldn't get it. That's what it was like during the Second World War. It was pretty tough out there. So it was really interesting. My mother had a salon at Salisbury Beach first. It was during the war also. She was a hairdresser. My mother did Ella Fitzgerald's hair. She used to do almost all the stars at the Frolics also. Liberace's hair, the McGuire sisters, Teresa Brewer. Sammy Davis Jr., he came when he was there at the barn in the beginning. He was there with his father and uncles, and they did the entertaining. He wasn't alone at that time. He was there with his wife, and my mother used to do his wife's hair. Talking about Teresa Brewer. Now, some of you out there that are listening to me go way back also. A lot of you remember Taylor's Barber Shop and Bud Taylor. And Bud Taylor absolutely loved Teresa Brewer, and every single time she would come to get her hair for that week, and she came up a few times, he'd call my mother and say, don't forget to call me so I could come over to see her. And she didn't mind. Brad would come over. He was a gentleman. He would sit there and talk. But she had a pretty cool, her husband was a little tough. He'd be out in the car yelling at her, hurry up. He didn't give her a minute. She yelled out the door. She says, she'll be out when she's ready. She told him. But that didn't stop him. Because I was just a little kid then, but I can remember. He was something. And Brad would sit there and not say a word. Liberace, he was, I'll tell you, the man was unbelievable. Because I had to open up there, and I would see him walking at 5 o'clock in the morning. When I came up, he was walking. And he would head for the Salisbury Beach along the shore. And he'd always say to me, now you make sure you have me half a dozen sandwiches this way. This is how I want them when I come back. And he'd come back from walking the Salisbury Beach, on the beach, he'd walk. And he was fast. God, my God, he would, like almost running, but he was walking fast. He'd pick them up, and he'd feed his people. That's what he was doing. He wanted he wanted a lot more than that, but it was just the sandwiches, and we had to get a lot. He was really good. Yeah, the guy I was out walking all the time for his health. And he was fabulous, though. So we got to watch him just about every night there, the Frolics. He was good. We all had to work. And so it didn't seem like a bad thing. And we always had time to play. We always had time to go to the beach or the roller skating rink. I used to go to the roller skating rink all the time and skate. And it was good times out there. It was just it was a different time. It was a little slower pace. And we got to see all the stars all the time. A lot of us that worked there always got to go to the Frolics for nothing. I mean, you've heard the word many times, honky tonk Salisbury. And, I guess it's not a bad thing. The beach had its place, and it's going to have its place again now. You're going to see a whole different situation now. But back then it was great entertainment. There were many, many dance halls all over the place. At one time there was probably 6 or 7 dance halls all over Salisbury Beach, either in the hotels where the barrooms were or just plain dance halls, because that was a big thing back then, was the dancing. Sammy Davis, I used to go down early in the morning. He would get up and start his rehearsing at the barn for that night. Every day he rehearsed. And that's where I learned to dance, was from him back then. And I was little. I was just a small little kid then. When the Ocean Echo was open, it was all big band sounds and big dancing. It was that dance all night, dance all day. It was amazing, just an amazing. They were out in the street dancing, and it was quite a place. The Frolics, the barn. Well, the Frolics probably, I'm not sure the date, but I think right around the 60s, late 60s, the Frolics closed the doors and then went into the arcades and the stands that were out front. And then the Salisbury Beach, the discount house, Sandy Schaefer, her father opened up the Salisbury Beach discount house at one end of the Frolics, or in the Frolics, the part of it, the main part. So he had that there for quite a while also. I bet you didn't know that either.
No, I didn't. But why did the Frolics close?
Well, it was big money, they were paying these guys for entertainment $5,000 a week. Then it went up to, what I heard was up to $25,000 plus a week. So when you're only getting $15 or $20 a ticket to get in the place, and the food didn't amount to, they served a heck of a meal, because I had eaten there, but you can't serve that much liquor to make the money. So they finally just had to close the doors, and it's a shame. And that's what happened to the barn when my family owned the barn, the same thing. The entertainment got so expensive that you had to have a bigger place for that type of venue.
Yeah.
Salisbury Beach has its place, and now it's going to have its place again, but it's going to be a different venue now. It's going to be a little more subtle, but still have its place. You know, it's a great beach. You know, my parents always said it probably has, for a beach area, for the sand, it has the best sand in the world. It is just perfect. It doesn't really stick to you like a lot of those other beaches.